Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Gettysburg Great Moments. I'm Jen Maurer, Assistant Director of Athletic Communications here at Gettysburg College. And we have a treat for you today as we are featuring more specifically from the May 26th to 28th of 2016 Outdoor Track and Field Championships. And here joining to talk about that is Kate Cavanaugh and Katie McCoubrie. And first off, what an unbelievable 4 years you both had to point that out at your career at Gettysburg. And kind of want to start it back from when you first stepped on campus as a freshman here. Was it your goal to become an All-American? And I'm going to have Katie, if you can answer that first.
Sure. It definitely was not on my radar. I came in and I think my first season was sort of swept up in figuring out how to be in college and be a college athlete, and had probably not my best season. But then as the years went on, sort of fell in love with track again and made that a big priority towards the end of my college career. And it was really just that last season or two that I started to realize I had a chance at that, and was really fortunate that it happened senior year.
Yeah, and Kate, what about you?
I can probably reiterate just about everything that Katie said. I think that especially the first season, freshman year, was quite a whirlwind. But I think once things really started falling together my junior and senior year, I thought I might have had a shot, which was a pretty cool goal to work towards.
Yeah, I was going to say the 2016 Outdoor NCAA Championships was not your first time going. Kate, that was your fifth appearance at the national meet. And Katie, that was your second. So let's take it back to the indoor season. Now, Katie, this was your first time going. So how did it feel to go in the indoor meet, but also to the outdoor one as well as a senior?
It was really exciting. Again, I don't know if I can say that it was on my radar until it all sort of started happening. But I think Coach Hartzler that year and the team, we had a really good environment, and Hartzler really came in with like a progressive plan for us that worked well for me. He wasn't in a rush to have us have our best, best meet the first meet of the season. And I think that really shows because Kate and I and a lot of our teammates, we were continuing to have personal bests later in the season. And even those last meets at nationals having personal best jumps. So I think it was just a really great progression that year.
Yeah, and Kate, now again, this was your fifth time appearing at the 2016 Outdoor NCAA Championship. So for you, was it just as special the fifth time around from the first time?
Honestly, it might have been even more special because it was really the first time I got to go with one of my best friends. And having that support was so different from being there by yourself. And especially, the coaches are such a great support system, but there's no one like your teammates. So it was a whole different experience. And I would agree with everything that Katie said. Like, we all peaked at the perfect point in the season, and we kept progressively getting better as the season went on. And I think in my freshman, sophomore, and even junior year, nationals was just, this thing. It was a really great opportunity to go to, but I still didn't think I had that shot at All-American. And, it really all came together my senior year. I never did well at nationals before senior year. Always did pretty bad, but it was still a really cool experience.
That actually leads to the next question, because you just touched on it, Kate, is that you didn't go. It wasn't just you two. You also had a men's track athlete go with you as well, and Andre Hines, who I actually just talked to a couple weeks ago. And so how was it? You kind of just touched again on this, Kate, so I'm going to shoot this to Katie. How did it feel to have teammates join you along for the ride in your last time wearing the orange and blue?
Yeah, it was awesome. And I can't imagine with Kate going without the support of teammates, because like she said, that's really what made the whole experience special for me, was sharing it with people I had trained so hard with for so long, and also, supported me throughout the rest of college. So it was just a really special meet. I think it's amazing that we all did well at nationals and ended up having some of our, best meets of our career. But at the same time, it was just special to have, our last time competing as college athletes, have that be together.
Yeah, and Kate, did you want to add anything else to that?
Oh yeah, I mean, Katie and Audrey were great. I swear I could hear them screaming as I was running. Like that's, you could feel how much they really love you and care about you. And it's almost them running as much as you are running. And when Katie's triple jumping, I almost feel like I'm triple jumping. So it's like when you see those scores getting posted, you're just as excited as those other athletes are. It's a great feeling.
Yeah, it sounds like was a great support system to have as well. And so now I know Kate will go back to you on this. You had entered into ranked 5th in the 100-meter hurdles into the national meet. So did you have a good sense that you were gonna go to nationals, or when did you really feel that you were gonna go to nationals again for outdoor season?
Outdoor throughout my whole college career was not my race. I really liked indoor. It's only 5 hurdles, much shorter race. I'm pretty notorious for hitting hurdles really hard. I'm definitely one of the shorter athletes out on the track. So I have to be really precise with the way I go over the hurdles, which means I'm only clearing them by like a very short bit. So I hit them all the time. So outdoor, when the race expands to 10 hurdles, it's a little finicky once you start getting towards the end. So it's never guaranteed. And you look at those standings and it's pretty toxic because other runners are progressing as you're progressing too, right? So even if you're ranked 5th, other runners could have really great meets at the end of the season and knock you out. So it's never guaranteed. Even if you're first place one day, you could be 20th the next day.
So you entered the national meet with the 19th seed. So kind of the same question for you. And I know you hit that mark at the Centennial Conference Championship of the 38, 3.5. So was it really the conference championship where you felt like you had a chance at nationals, or when did you kind of think about that?
Yeah, similar to what Kate said, you just never really know if your distance or your time is going to hold up to get you to nationals. So I knew that at that point I had a shot and was just hoping that I didn't get passed by too many people and would get a chance to compete.
Yeah, and then I kind of want to add, I think this is starting to become one of my favorite questions to ask the student athletes when talking to you guys about these Gettysburg great moments. Now it's meet day. Do you change any of your routine, or do you keep it the same as you did throughout the regular season in preparations to getting ready, warm up, and all that? So Kate, I'm going to go ahead and shift that off to you.
Oh, I was a horrible, horrible athlete to talk to right before my races. I was the most anxious human being on planet Earth. So to kind of manage that, I had to do the same exact routine, I guess you could call it, every single time I competed, and nationals was no different. It's very systematic, and I kept to that system even on the day of nationals.
And then what about with you, Katie?
Probably quite the opposite. I just kind of showed up, snack in hand. Kate would always make fun of me because I'd be like eating up until the last minute before competing.
Literally, like the ref would be calling her name, and she'd be like, "Oh, I gotta take one more bite."
Yeah, the thing I really loved about jumping is that you do get 3, maybe 6 attempts at your jump during a meet. So that takes a little bit of the pressure off. And yeah, I just stuck with my warm-up routine. Definitely nationals, was excited for the day. For me, it almost felt like there was nothing on the line but to show up and have fun at my last track meet. I mean, it was awesome I did have a personal best that day and did better than I was expecting. So that was exciting and definitely a goal, but really the point for me was just to show up and have a fun meet. And the one routine that Kate and I stuck to, we had some big cheerleaders bows that we wore in all of our big meets. So I definitely pulled that out for nationals.
And of course I did too.
Yeah.
So, Kate, as a senior, you finally clinched after doing the prelims. You finally made it to the finals. So, how did it feel to finally know that once you hit to being able to run in the finals, that you had a chance of being an All-American?
Oh man, I remember standing there indoor and outdoor because you have to wait for all the heats to finish before you know if you've qualified for finals. So it's not like you run the race and you know, right? You still have that waiting period. So I was sweating, so anxious, like freaking out. Katie's probably having a snack on the sidelines. And when I saw that I had made it and qualified, I think I was either screaming or just frozen in shock. I can't remember the reaction, but it was one of those two. I was really excited. I mean, because once you know that you made the finals, you know you're an All-American, even if you fall on your face on the track, as long as you cross that finish line, right? So really that's when it switched to me to like what Katie was saying before. I had nothing to lose at that point. The trials are really that like anxiety inducing race. And then the finals are like, you know what? Not even the last time I'm going to wear my orange and blue uniform. Like that to this day was the last time I ran a hurdles race. And I think it went pretty well. It was cool to have my last hurdles race as that experience.
Yeah, and obviously you had claimed your second All-American honors by placing sixth in the final for the 100-meter hurdles with a time of 14.40 seconds. So once you did clinch that, how did it feel to not only have one All-American honor, but you got two as a senior?
It was awesome. I feel like, all that I had worked towards throughout my college career had finally just been wrapped together with a neat little bow. It was definitely a unique experience and one that I'm really thankful to have had.
And then Katie, how did it feel again? I know you weren't very far off from earning All-American honors, but how did it still feel again to be competing and know that you got to finish your final career wearing the orange and blue with Kate and also Andre?
It was an awesome experience, and like I said before, was really just out there to enjoy my last track meet, and did better than I expected and was seeded. And so to come in and have my last meet be one of my best meets with two really good teammates by my side was awesome.
And also, I wanted to ask too, and I probably should have asked this in the beginning, but how was the weather? Was the weather on your side on those few days, or was it against you?
I don't remember, so it must have been decent.
I was just about to say the same thing. If I don't remember it, it must have been fine.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear, because I would think you really probably don't enjoy jumping the triple jump anyways, Katie, and the rain. Or do you actually enjoy it?
I do love the rain, but it probably maybe that would have knocked everyone else down a peg, and could have helped me out.
And also kind of wanted to ask you guys too, obviously you had incredible careers here at Gettysburg. So how would you sum up your 4 years as a student athlete at Gettysburg? And I'll go ahead and have Kate answer first on that one.
In one of those cheesy videos that I had to do during my career at Gettysburg, they asked, what is the word that best describes your experience as a student athlete? And I think I said well-rounded, and I stick by that. Like my junior year, I actually elected not to go to nationals to do research for one of my classes. And that research ended up leading to a pretty life-changing career path that I'm on to now. And, I never got pressure from the coaches because of that or was looked down on because of that. So to be able to not only become All-American, but also really focus on my academics and not have that pressure from the coaches was exactly the experience I wanted out of college.
And Katie?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think I've never regretted once going to Gettysburg and being a D3 athlete. I think it's made me who I am today. And like Kate said, was really able to have that well-rounded college experience. I have friends who are still a huge part of my life today who I met at Gettysburg. And I was able to have time for those relationships and also focus on my academics and Kate and I were just catching up before this interview and talking about how cool it is that we are both on career paths that we really enjoy, doing things that we had talked about at Gettysburg and always kind of aspired to. I think the skills that we learned on the track helped us to be successful in our career today, and we definitely have Gettysburg to thank for that.
I agree.
Yeah. And I also wanted to ask too, because obviously you're both very accomplished or were very accomplished student athletes here at Gettysburg. So what piece of advice would you give a current student athlete or an incoming one who maybe wants to win the Centennial Conference titles or be an All-American? And I'll go ahead and shift this to Katie first.
I would say trust in your coaches and your teammates and look to them for support, and just put in the work and don't be in a rush for it to happen overnight. Again, Kate and I both had some of our best meets at the very end of our senior year. And that came from 4 years of working towards goals and progressing the way that our coaches laid out for us, using the support of awesome teammates.
And then Katie,
I
or
agree.
Kate, sorry.
No, that's okay. Don't get discouraged, especially in the beginning of your college career. Like, trust in the process. It, like Katie said, some of my best races were the last couple races I ever ran. So if you stick with it, just be patient. Your teammates are your family, so they'll help you get through those highs and those lows. But if you're dedicated, it'll happen.
And yeah, just to give you some insight on how accomplished both of these ladies who I'm talking to today are, they both finished as two of the most decorated track and field athletes in program history. And so for Kate, she finished as a 6-time Centennial Conference champion, a school record holder in 4 events, and a conference record holder in 2 events. And then with Katie, she racked up an incredible 12 Centennial Conference titles and finished as the school record holder in both indoor and outdoor in the triple jump. And I just saw Katie do a little happy dance there. And I think it's pretty evident that they rooted each other on, as they have clearly stated throughout this video as well. And so I kind of want to lead off with this last question. Obviously, you both graduated from Gettysburg in 2016. So what have you been up to since graduation? And I'll start this with Katie.
After graduating from Gettysburg, I worked as a personal trainer for a year. And got ready for an accelerated nursing program at Villanova. So I did a 1-year nursing program and then accepted my first job at Johns Hopkins working on a cardiology unit. So I've been a nurse here for about two and a half years now, living in Baltimore. And it's been a really exciting place to work and an awesome career path that I feel very fortunate to be on.
And then Kate, what about you?
Right after college, I worked with the NASA Develop program for about 2 years. I moved out to California, and now I am getting my PhD at UCLA, and I'm probably never leaving California. I'm so happy on the West Coast. That's the Pacific Coast Highway right there. And I seriously owe all of my successes to my experience at Gettysburg. I am so fortunate and so grateful. So nothing but good things to say. I study seaweed, if anyone's interested.
Well, thank you for pointing that out. And thank you again, Kate and Katie, for joining to talk about just one of your glorious moments in your 4-year career here at Gettysburg. So for all of you watching, make sure to stay tuned to see what Gettysburg great moments will be featured next. And so until next time, go Bullets.